In this video, we are going to discuss another looping technique known as do-while loops. We will discuss the structure of the do-while loop and compare it with other looping techniques in Java. Definitely, we will write a program to explain how do-while loops work. Hi, I'm Dr. Shahriar Hossain. Today I'm going to explain do-while loops in Java. From the previous videos, we already are familiar with for loops and while loops. Now, the question is, why do we need a third type of loop named do-while? It's a good question. A do-while loop is a special kind of looping technique that is suitable for a situation when execution of a code block is required at least for once. Now you may ask if a programmer needs to absolutely know about do-while loops. The answer is a programmer can avoid do-while loops and use for or while loops with some tricks to do the same work. However, knowing do-while loops makes a programmer's life easier in some situations. Moreover, if you have to sit for a programming exam or go for an interview, you absolutely need to be familiar with do-while loops. Do-while is one of the three looping techniques. As a programmer, we should be familiar with all three types of loops: for loops, while loops, and do-while loops. Anyway, let us take a quick look at the structure of a do-while loop. The do-while loop starts with the word do. Then the scope of the code block starts with a curly bracket. At the end of the code block, you end the scope using a closing bracket. Then the syntax while is written at the end with a condition. We have to put a semicolon at the end of the do-while loop. Notice that do-while is quite different than while loop or for loop. Do-while is different in the sense that in while and in for loops, the condition is executed before going inside the scope. If the condition results in true in a for loop or in a while loop, the execution goes inside. If the condition results in false, the execution does not go inside. In contrast, there is no condition before going inside the code block of the do-while loop. That means the code block will execute at least once. At the end, you have the condition with the while. Every time the code block is executed, the condition check will evaluate whether another repetition of the code block is required. If the condition is true, then the code block will be executed again. Otherwise, the execution will move forward to whatever statements are there outside the do-while loop. A common use of do-while is to check if the user wants to repeat the same work. Consider that we have an amazing program that can add two double precision numbers. The program asks the user for two numbers. The program then reports the addition result. After the addition, the program asks the user if she or he would like to add two more numbers. If the user enters Y for yes, then the program will ask again for two numbers that the user wants to add. After the user enters two new numbers, the program will report the new addition result and ask if the user wants to do more additions. The process will keep repeating as long as the user enters Y. If the user enters N, then the program will say goodbye and terminate. Let us write code for this program. At first, let us write a program that asks for two numbers, reports the summation result, and then terminates. Later, we will modify the code to repeat the task. We already know how to write a scanner object and ask the user to enter two numbers. We keep the two numbers in two variables named A and B. After receiving the numbers from the user, all we have to do is to print the summation of the two numbers. If we compile the Java file and run the generated class file, we will notice that the program asks for two numbers from the user, then the program reports the summation, and finally the program terminates. Now, what we want to do is the following. We want to use a do-while loop to repeat this part of the code, where we ask the user for two numbers and then print the summation result. Let us write the do syntax and put our code inside the scope of this loop. The loop ends with the syntax while, and then in parentheses we will need to provide the condition that is responsible for the repetition. Note that we have to put a semicolon at the end of the do-while loop. Now we still do not have any information that we can use for the condition that should go here. In fact, with the current code block, we did not collect any information from the user regarding her or his desire to repeat the addition for another set of numbers. Let us declare a character variable that will help us to store a letter representing user's desire to repeat. A character variable is able to keep only a letter, digit, or a symbol in it. For example, it can hold A, B, C, or any letter. A character can hold digits also, for example, 1, 2, or 3. It can even hold symbols like plus, minus, or multiplication. There is a wide range of characters, letters, digits, or symbols that a character variable can hold. We will ask the user to enter Y if she or he wants to do another addition. We will ask the user to enter anything else if she or he does not want to do any more addition. We will store whatever the user entered in the character variable named decision we just created. We use the scanner object to get the user input for a character value. Unfortunately, the scanner object does not have a direct method to read one character. We have to read whatever the user enters using the next method. We have to keep the information in a string object. str is the string variable. Then we have to retrieve whatever we have in the first position of the string str and put it in the character variable named decision. The value 0 in the parenthesis of char at gives the first character. Characters in a string start from 0. That is, the first character of a string has a location of 0. The second character has a location 1. The third character has a location of 2, so on and so forth. Anyway, we just need to take a look at the first character, whether it is Y or not. If the first character is Y, it will be in location 0 of the string str. Hence, the variable decision will contain Y. If we find that the variable decision is not Y, then we do not have to repeat anymore. Now notice that the repetition of the do while is dependent on whether the variable decision is Y or not. Therefore, we can write the condition here as decision double equals character Y. That means if the decision variable is the character y, then repeat, otherwise do not repeat. Note that a character is placed within a single start quote and a single end quote. Without the quotes, the compiler will think that y is a variable and will throw an error stating that the variable y is not declared in this program. Therefore, to indicate that we are referring to the exact character value y, we have to provide the single quotes. After the do-while loop terminates, we want the program to write a goodbye message. Therefore, we write a system.out.println method outside of the do-while loop. Let us save the file, compile the code, and execute the generated class file. The user is asked for two numbers. The user enters the two numbers, the program reports the addition result, then the program asks to enter y. If the user wants to do more additions, the user types y and hits the enter button. The program asks for the numbers again. The addition result is displayed. Then the program again asks whether the user wants to do more additions. The user can keep entering y here and keep doing additions. When the user enters anything other than y, the program says goodbye and then terminates. Notice again how we wrote our program. The code block executes at least once. The decision whether to repeat the code block or not is made at the end. The structure of do-while is different than for loop and while loop in this way. Through this video, we have covered the third looping technique used in Java. We already learned nested for loops in one of the previous videos. Similar to nested for loops, you can write nested do-while loops. You can even write one do-while loop inside a for loop, or even one for loop inside a do-while loop. I hope that the concept of looping is clear to you. Please let us know if you have any question through the comments section below. If you haven't subscribed yet to our website computingforall.com and to this specific YouTube channel where this video is hosted, please do so to receive notifications on our new articles and video lectures. We wish you become successful in learning to code. Again, please do not hesitate to contact us via the comments section below if you have any question or even to introduce yourself. See you soon in another video. Bye.